Madame Gazelle stands at the blackboard with a mysterious smile, holding an ancient book that no one has seen before. Children sit at their desks, waiting for the lesson. But today, Madame Gazelle looks different. Her eyes glow with strange light. Madame Gazelle opens an old book with worn pages. Strange symbols are visible on the cover, pulsing with dark light. Peppa notices that the teacher is reading incomprehensible words. The air in the classroom becomes cold and heavy. George hides under his desk, sensing the approach of something terrible. His toy dinosaur starts trembling in his hands. Susie points to the window where dark clouds appear. The sky quickly darkens even though it's still day. An ominous glow begins emanating from the book. Madame Gazelle continues reading the spell, ignoring the frightened children. A glowing circle appears in the center of the classroom. The air fills with strange whispers and echoes from another world. Labubu materializes in the magic circle. His plasma eyes scan the room, and sharp teeth gleam in the dim light. Madame Gazelle bows to the demon with reverence. She has made a dark deal with him for unknown power. Children try to run away, but the classroom doors are locked. Labubu slowly approaches them, enjoying their fear. Freddy tries to break the window with a chair, but the glass remains intact, as if protected by magic. Emily calls for help, but her voice cannot be heard. Labubu has created a sound barrier around the school. Labubu begins turning children into his puppets. Their eyes become empty and their movements mechanical. Pedro tries to hide behind a cabinet, but Labubu sees him through walls with his demonic vision. Madame Gazelle realizes she has lost control. The demon is not going to follow her orders. Labubu turns to the teacher with an evil smile. Now she too will become his servant. Wendy tries to reach the spell book. Perhaps there is a way to stop the demon there. Danny helps Wendy by distracting Labubu's attention. They work together despite the horror. Wendy finds a counterspell in the book, but its pronunciation requires a sacrifice. Children understand that someone must stay with Labubu. Peppa voluntarily steps forward. Labubu grabs Peppa and disappears into a portal. The other children are freed from the spell. Madame Gazelle remains alone in the empty classroom. The spell book turns to ash in her hands. Children return home, but Peppa is not with them. In the school mirrors, her silhouette can sometimes be seen next to Labubu. A new teacher comes to school the next day, but children know Labubu is still somewhere nearby, waiting for a new summons. The school library had always been the quietest place. Today, everything changed forever and ever. Pedro finds an ancient book on dusty shelf. The leather cover glows with mysterious amber light. Pedro opens the heavy book with curiosity. Pages rustle by themselves very mysteriously and eerily. Amber Labubu emerges from the book slowly. Red eyes burn with pure, sinister fire. Labubu whispers ancient spells in unknown language. Words echo throughout the entire silent library. Books begin flying around wildly in circles. Powerful magic fills the entire sacred space completely. Pedro tries closing the book desperately with force. Pages resist all his desperate efforts completely. Labubu touches other books gently with paws. All start glowing bright amber immediately everywhere. Peppa enters the library cautiously and quietly, sees flying books everywhere around her in chaos. Susie follows Peppa closely behind her friend. Both girls stare in complete horror and shock. Labubu points at children with menacing gesture. Books surround them in tight, magical circle. Madame Gazelle rushes to help them quickly. Magic is already far too strong for anyone. Ancient spells become louder and much louder. Air trembles with overwhelming magical power and energy. Children cannot move their bodies at all. Magic holds them very tightly in place now. Labubu rises into air gracefully like spirit. Spellbook shines brighter than burning hot sun. All books open simultaneously together at once. Pages turn by themselves mysteriously fast and wild. Glowing symbols appear in air, floating mysteriously. pulsing with bright amber magical light constantly. Labubu reads main spell loudly and clearly. His voice echoes from everywhere around the room. Library fills with brilliant golden magical glow. Magic reaches its absolute peak power level. Children repeat spells together harmoniously in unison. Their voices merge into haunting magical choir. Labubu disappears into the ancient spellbook completely. Pedro becomes his eternal vessel forever. Pedro's eyes burn with amber fire now. He serves Labubu's dark will completely. Children leave school in eerie silence together. Their souls belong to the book. Every night they return to spread curse. The darkness grows stronger always. Peppa's family went to summer camp. The place seemed perfect for a peaceful vacation. The road home disappeared completely. Nobody could find the way out of the dark forest. Phones stopped working entirely. Connection to the outside world was lost forever and completely. Daddy Pig maintains his composure carefully, but his eyes reveal growing fear and anxiety inside. Mummy Pig cooks dinner with trembling hands. The food becomes increasingly strange and unappetizing. George plays with his toys silently. His usual cheerful laughter is no longer heard anywhere. At night, strange sounds in the forest. Something big and terrifying moves between the trees. Grandpa Pig behaves very strangely now. He talks to invisible creatures around him constantly. Granny Pig forgets family names completely. Her gaze becomes empty and completely absent from reality. A yellow figure appears in camp. Labubu watches the family from a safe distance carefully. Daddy Pig starts digging a deep hole. He claims he is searching for an exit desperately. Mummy Pig stops cooking food entirely. She only stares at one fixed point in space. George talks to his toys constantly. They answer him with strange and very eerie voices. Grandpa Pig disappears for a whole day. He returns with completely empty and lifeless eyes. Granny Pig draws strange, mysterious symbols. She cannot remember her own name anymore at all. Labubu approaches closer to camp slowly. His yellow eyes glow brightly in the darkness around. Daddy Pig digs deeper and deeper frantically. The hole becomes similar to a freshly dug grave. Mummy Pig sings a haunting lullaby. The words of this song frighten everyone around her. George stops being a child completely. His behavior becomes adult and very creepy and disturbing. Labubu enters the camp openly now. Nobody tries to stop him from entering their space. The family gathers around the hole. They look down with completely empty and expressionless faces. Labubu explains the rules of this world. Isolation has changed them all forever and irreversibly. Peppa realizes there is no exit possible. The camp has become their permanent home for eternity. The family accepts new reality calmly. Sanity is no longer needed in this strange place. Labubu stays with them forever now. The isolated camp gained new permanent residence for life. The park had always been Peppa's family's favorite place, green and safe. But no one suspected what dark secrets the new cleaner was hiding behind his friendly appearance. Sunny morning in the town, Peppa's family decides to go to the park for fun. Peppa runs excitedly to the swings. George drags his beloved Mr. Dinosaur behind him. Mummy and Daddy Pig sit comfortably on the bench. Everything looks perfectly normal and peaceful. Suddenly, a large green figure with a broom appears. The new park cleaner arrives mysteriously. Shrek slowly sweeps the paths with care. His red eyes watch everyone carefully and suspiciously. Children play happily, not noticing the strange stare. Parents read their newspapers quietly. Shrek approaches closer to the playground area. Leaves turn black under his heavy feet. Peppa swings higher and higher joyfully. George builds elaborate sand castles with concentration. The cleaner begins sweeping around the sandbox. Sand becomes dark and sticky mysteriously. George tries to take sand, but hands stick firmly. He cannot break free at all. Peppa calls loudly for parents to help. Mummy and Daddy run over quickly. Shrek continues sweeping very calmly. His sinister smile grows wider and wider. Parents try desperately to help George. The sand holds him tighter than before. Other children in park stick to toys. Nobody can leave this place anymore. Shrek sweeps much faster now. The entire park covers with dark, magical dust. Families try frantically to leave. The gates are locked by invisible supernatural force. The cleaner laughs with frightening sound. His broom glows with eerie green light. Peppa finally understands the real danger. She tries desperately to warn everyone around. Shrek approaches each family slowly. All children become strangely quiet and obedient. Parents don't notice the changes. They think children are simply tired from playing. Sun sets slowly. Nobody leaves. They all stay in park forever and ever. Shrek disappears into dark shadows. The park looks perfectly clean and innocent again. New unsuspecting families arrive tomorrow. They don't know about the terrible danger waiting. Shrek appears again with his broom ready. The horrifying cycle of terror continues endlessly forever. Peppa Pig's house always seemed like a safe place, warm and cozy. But none of its inhabitants even suspected what dark secrets could be hidden in the most ordinary objects, such as the old phone in the hallway. George plays in the living room with his toys. Suddenly, the old phone in the hallway starts ringing. The phone's sound is strange and frightening. Nobody expected a call at this time. George approaches the phone and picks up the receiver. A weak, trembling voice comes from it. The voice whispers, "Help me get out of here." George doesn't understand who is speaking. The voice becomes more desperate and insistent. It asks George to find a way to free it. George calls Peppa, but when she approaches, the voice in the receiver disappears. The phone is silent as if nothing happened. Peppa doesn't believe her brother and thinks he's making it up. But George knows he heard a real voice. At night, the phone rings again. George quietly goes downstairs to answer. The voice now sounds even more pitiful. It tells that it's trapped in a dark place. George asks where the speaker is located. The voice answers that it's inside the phone itself. Strange sounds begin coming from the receiver, scratching, whispers, and echoes from another world. George tries to help and shakes the phone. Something moves and knocks inside. Mummy Pig finds George with the phone. She's concerned about his strange behavior. When Mummy takes the receiver, she also hears the voice. Now it asks for her help. The voice explains that evil Labubu lured it into the phone. Now it can't get out. The family gathers around the phone. Everyone hears pleas for help from the receiver. Daddy Pig tries to disassemble the phone, but the screws won't budge. Something holds them in place. Suddenly, the dark figure of Labubu emerges from the phone. His red eyes glow ominously. Labubu laughs and explains his plan. He collects voices in the phone for his collection. The phone begins sucking in sounds around it. The family's voices become quieter and quieter. George realizes they're trapped. Labubu wants to take their voices forever. The family tries to scream, but sounds disappear into the phone. Their voices become part of the collection. Labubu disappears, leaving the family without voices. Now they can only silently open their mouths. New voices asking for help are heard in the phone. The family has become part of the trap. The phone awaits the next victims. Who will dare to answer its ominous call? Madame Gazelle's school always seemed like a place of joy and fun. But every year, one student disappeared forever, and no one dared to speak about it aloud. Today was a special day, the day of choice. Madame Gazelle stands before the class with a silver urn in her hands. The tradition had to continue. Children sit in a circle, their eyes full of fear. Everyone knew what this urn meant. Peppa, Susie, Pedro, Danny, and Emily trembled in their seats. One of them wouldn't return. Home. Madame Gazelle slowly opens the urn and takes out a silver paper. The name was already written in advance. She unfolds the paper and reads the name. The choice fell on the most innocent. Peppa rises from her seat. Her face turns pale. Her friends turn away in horror. In the corner of the classroom appears the silver shadow of Labubu. He had been waiting for this moment all year. Madame Gazelle takes Peppa by the hand and leads her to the door. No one dares to interfere. They walk down the long corridor to the school basement. Each step echoes in the silence. Labubu follows them, his silver eyes glowing in the darkness. He becomes bigger and scarier. In the basement stands an ancient altar covered with silver cloth. Here all the previous children disappeared. Peppa looks back, but the door is already locked. There was no way back anymore. Labubu approaches the altar. His form becomes enormous. The ritual is about to begin. Madame Gazelle speaks ancient words in an unknown language. The air fills with silver fog. Peppa tries to run away, but her legs don't obey. Labubu's magic was too strong. Silver fog envelops the girl completely. Her screams become quieter and quieter. Labubu extends his silver paws toward Peppa. The sacrifice is almost complete. The fog dissipates, and Peppa disappears without a trace. Labubu smiles contentedly. Madame Gazelle returns to the classroom. The lesson continues as if nothing happened. Children sit silently, knowing that Peppa is no more. No one asks questions. In the corner of the classroom, Labubu becomes invisible. He will wait for the next year. Peppa's parents come to pick up their daughter after school. Madame Gazelle says she left early. At home, the family waits for Peppa until late at night, but she will never return.